Alright guys, back again. I'm going to do a video on some games with the SixAxis, with the SixAxis controller app using the PS3 controller to control the games. Get that camera in the right spot. Alright. First of all, I am rooted and I'm running the stable build, EOS stable build 3.0, Jelly Bean 411. Using Bizarre 6's red theme. That doesn't really matter, but it's an awesome theme. Now first of all, you will need, clear all that, you're going to need the SixAxis controller app, which you can find in the PlayStation Store. It does require root. Once you pair your controller, which you will need a controller, your OTG, and then just your regular, USB to mini USB that you get with your PS3 for your controllers. So you would plug in your OTG in there, and then hook up your controller, and then you're going to hit start up here. Well, sorry, you're going to plug in your controller, and then you're going to hit pair controller, and that's going to change the Bluetooth address of your controller to match that of the Xoom, which is displayed down here. So once you do that, it'll be paired, and then you can go ahead and unplug the cable. You can disconnect everything and do everything over Bluetooth. So once you do that, you'll hit start. Well, let me go ahead and just stop mine. Turn off my controller here real quick. Anytime. There we go. Okay. So now it's disconnected. Controller's off. It's not on. But it will still remain paired with my Xoom until I plug it into my PS3 again, to use it for whatever. Okay, so you're going to hit start. After you pair it, you plug it in, you pair it, you're going to hit start. Alright, now it's going to say, it's attempting to connect, driver starting, and now I'm going to turn on my controller. Now it's listening for controllers. And there, now it's connected. Connected 1, battery status full. So it's pretty sweet, it tells you your battery status. Now if you come up here, first of all, since we're still messing around with the Xoom, if we go to preferences, you go to mouse emulation, and you got this right here. You got your toggle mouse mode, which is a button that you're going to push to toggle on your mouse cursor on and off, like I just did right there. I have mine set to start, so mine will just turn off or on when I push it. SixAxis. Okay. Preferences. Okay, so mouse emulation. So now I can use my analog stick. Which one am I going to use for the mouse pointer? I'm using the right stick. You can have your left mouse button and your right mouse button set to any of the buttons. I have L1 and R1, but they both do the same thing. And then your sensitivity, I've got mine all the way turned up because it moves pretty slow unless you don't. So what that allows me to do, go back home. Now I can use my right joystick. Get that mouse over there so y'all can see it. There it is. See it moving. Now I can use this as mouse control on the Xoom. And we can use my button here. I can hold down for long touch options. You can open your folder, click on something to open it. There it goes. And then you can that's going back. Which one was it? Thought I had a back button assigned. But maybe not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So anyways, this is just a little nifty thing that you can do if you in between controlling or whatever, if you're sitting away. So gonna go back into the SixAxis app. I'll show y'all a few games, 2 simple ones and 2 other ones that would take a little bit more time to set up to get right. So first you're gonna go into your preferences. Download the games you want to play. Games like Angry Birds and Where's My Water, stuff like that. It's not really gonna work because you're dragging your finger. You might be able to do it with the mouse thing, but not setting up touch emulation controls because you got to drag your finger around the screen for that. So anyways, we're going to set up the controller, we're going to hit touch emulation. I'm going to edit touch profiles. I'm going to double tap, and now you have all your buttons, you know, all your options. You can add a button, remove a button, the properties of the button. You can load your profile that's saved, save a profile, delete a profile, change the background or edit the background, because you can take screenshots of the game to help you place the buttons a little easier. So I'm going to load a profile here. We'll do something simple first. Asphalt 6. It's a very simple setup. You know, easy driving game. It's got a L2 and R2 as my triggers for left and right turns, because it auto accelerates in the game for you depending on the control setup. And then I got what is this? One of these is brakes, I believe, and one of them is boost. I don't know. We'll start it up and find out. So once you get it set up, I didn't bother with the screenshot for this one, but once you have that set up, you know, go ahead and save it, and then back out, and then come back here to the main page and hit this button right here, which will bring you a menu of the profiles that you have saved. So you want to click, we're going to do Asphalt 6, so we're going to make sure we got Asphalt 6 running up in there. Now we're going to hit change IME and make sure that says SixAxis controller. So that's set, so we're good to go. Go back home, and then we'll start Asphalt 6. And the controller will remain on until you turn off Bluetooth or exit the app. Either way, it's not going to turn off. Skip all that. Whatever, it's fine. Racist, doesn't matter.
Hope you like to get high, because when you're racing on a mountain. 3, 2, 1.
So, now the car's going to go for me. But now I got my triggers left and right. I got a little too close. There we go. Just so you can see me turning. Okay. And then we have the X button is boost. There we go. See, now this works because, you know, the button here, I have to touch this to boost. Now I put that X button symbol there on the SixAxis app. So now anytime I push X, it thinks that's what I'm touching. Anytime I push square, it thinks I'm hitting the brakes. Now the setup that I have for driving, there's like 4 control schemes in this game on the in-game options. I have control set up D. I'll show you all that in a second. But that is auto accelerate with the buttons the way they're set up, and then the left and right side of the screen is just used for turning. Like if you were just holding it, you know, you could touch anywhere on the left side or the right side to turn. It's not really much. This one's a pretty simple one to set up. Not too bad. Oh, get off me. Oh. I've never been too good at racing games. The only one I was ever really good at was Split Second. I like that one.
He's counting on you.
Gotcha. This game's not bad. As of this video, they got Asphalt 7 in the store for 25 cents. Get off the wall, dude. So if you like those, you know, go ahead and check it out. We got a few other games for 25 cents.
For a few extra bucks.
I'm losing it.
He's on your bumper.
Get through one at. There we go. There's one there.
Final lap.
Okay. Pause that. Yes. So if we go to options in the game, you go to controls, you got Control D. This is the setup that we got going in the game. The only time that I'm ever going to change in-game options is if you know, for these control types. I'm not going to change my sensitivity. I'm not going to change inverting up and down. You know, I'll show you all that in one of the other ones. But that'll be saved for the settings that in the SixAxis app. I find which is better to do that. You sure want to leave? Yes. Okay. So now we left that game. we can open up SixAxis again. I'll go to preferences. Oh, we don't need to do that actually. We can just go right here. We'll do another simple one, Granny Smith. Back out. And there it is. This one's pretty easy to set up as well. Try this one. The whole point of this game is to get all 3 apples before the thief does. It's pretty much a race. You try to get all 3 apples before he does, and beat him. It goes by itself. All there is to jump. Make sure you land on your feet. You got a cane that lets you like grind on rails that you can grab onto above you, like this right here. I'll grab onto that. Slide down. Oh man! Now I can. Why is it doing it again? Go back to SixAxis. Preferences. Load. Okay. There we go. Oh, and I just fell off. So. Oh, I guess it didn't matter that I fell off. The way I've got this game set up, I've got my X button for the jumping. Oh, I got the circle button I use to grab onto the grinding that I can grind. We got R1 to throw baseballs, to slow down the thief, L1 to drop bananas. I can push select to restart a level, just like that, every time. I've got it set right there. And then start is the little pause button right there. Hit it again, unpause. Let me go ahead and I'll show you all the profile rig. Okay, like I said, circle for the cane, X to jump, R1 for my baseballs, L1 for the bananas. Start and select on top to pause and restart. The game's pretty cool. It gets addicting. It's one of those things where you want to try one more every time, one more time. One of those types of things. The levels do get pretty challenging, especially with some of the timing to grab in, and you have good timing for the releases on some of those swings like that one. You can throw baseballs at the thief to make him slow. And I missed the thing again. Oh. So you throw baseballs at him to make him slow down. You can drop the banana peels to make them. Now, why is my control doing that? Yes. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's put it to something that I don't really ever push. R3. Now that should solve that problem. I think when I was pausing it, it keeps on turning my mouse on over and over. Now I did it again. There we go. Now I set R3 to turn the mouse off, so if that happens, I can turn it on. I shouldn't turn it on again to start. Yeah, that solved the problem. So just if you're going to use the mouse thing, put enable the mouse button to something you're not really going to be pushing too much, because it seems to cause somewhat problems. Or you can just not really use it. It's not really that big of a whoop. So anyways, that's enough of that. We'll show you another game here real quick. Quit that one. We'll go back into the SixAxis app. We're going to go back to the main screen. Drop down my menu. We will open Samurai Vengeance. Right there. This is a pretty good game. It's been out for a while. I'm sure a lot of y'all have played it. Basic, hack and slash. It's got a really good style. I mean, the graphics look really nice. I like the hand-drawn painted style. There is one little problem with the control setup, but mostly it works. We got, let's see if I can. There we go. Joystick to move. Alright, we got X as the regular attack. Oh, my hand got in the way on that one. X, regular attack. I got square as the main, or the heavy attack, and then triangle I have set to do the dodge. And then we got start to pause it, and we got select to bring up the thing where you can buy stuff. Now, the only problem with this one is the joystick. When you're moving, I've tried a bunch of different settings, but when you're moving on this one, if you want to, you know, go in a circle, he's not if he's not really going to run in a, he's going to run in a circle, but it's going to take him a while to make a big, so he's going to make a wide circle. And if you go forward and then you want to jerk it back, you know, sometimes it'll jerk straight back, but it'll take a few seconds, and other times it'll take that long way. Or you can, what I've been doing really is moving, and then, like, you know, you can just let go of the joystick real quick and then decide where you want to go. It doesn't, you know, it's not really too much of a big deal. And then, you know, you can do your dodge and turn around. You can still do pretty much everything. I'll kill these guys here real quick. And, you know, one of the nice things is that when you attack, it's gonna auto attack the closest guy next to you, so you don't really have to worry about aiming your joystick in a certain direction to hit these guys. Just you know, touch it back real quick to to roll. Y'all can see it moving on there, and then it's pretty sweet. You know, like I could just roll away and start attacking, and he's gonna jump to that closest dude. Get the arrow guy. There we go. See if I can show y'all what, like, you see my, well, I mean, you should just see how he does. I'm turning it right now, but he just, slowly turns. You can see it moving around in the circle there. Slowly moves. But like I said, I mean, just a quick let go of the joystick, and, it solves the problem. It's not bad at all, really. Destroy the barrels to build up your, I don't know, I guess whatever you want to call it, money. I think it's called karma, to upgrade your stuff, buy moves, upgrade your health, things like that. And now, see, now I've come to a button. Now, I checked this earlier. When this interact button comes up with a lever, it's actually in the same spot as my heavy attack button, my square button. So I don't need a new button for it. I can just walk up to it, it changes, it's square, and he interacts with, whatever you need to interact with. Alright, there we go, that's that one. Now, pause that, exit. For this one, game, I didn't mess with, hang on, I don't think I messed with any of the in-game options. I'm not even sure if there was. Oh yeah, the only thing on this one, you can move the buttons around the screen somewhere else if you want them somewhere else, and then you can set, like, you can put every button on the top of the screen if you want, set your profile that way if you want the screens, or if you want the buttons, somewhere else, like, I don't know, if they're in your way or whatever, you can move those around and set the profile up that way. Exit. Now do one more. SixAxis pair. We're going to do Dead Sugar. This game's pretty fun. Where's that? And there was a little problem with this one as well, with the joystick. It's still pretty playable. Well, shoot, anything is better with these types of games than touch controls, I'll tell you that. It's definitely playable better than touch controls. Okay, so we'll just, there we go, we'll just accept that mission. Now don't take a screenshot of this, because these control setups that they're showing you here are not the same as the in-game setup. The buttons are moved around a little more. Let's see this one. Okay, so joystick, left joystick move, my right joystick, you know, looks around. Got my R1 as my trigger to shoot. We got L1 to aim in. And it took me a while to figure that one out, actually. Yeah, when you're aiming in, you don't hold it down, because if you hold it down, you're not going to be able to shoot while you're holding it. You just tap L1, aim in, let it go, start shooting. Here we'll pause that real quick, and I'll show you all the profile. Trigger. Okay, so we got start up there is pause. My left joystick over here on the little joystick thing to move around. I got L1 down here to aim, and then we got square for reload. I got R1 to shoot. Triangle is for, I believe that's for the bandages to heal myself. And then analog right is set right here on this side of the screen, because, you know, putting your thumb or your finger anywhere over here is where you're gonna aim. So I just have it set right here. And we got sensitivity not too high. I mean, this is the lowest the dead zone goes. I mean, those I don't really mess with too much, but you're gonna want to turn on relative touch. So you know, when you move the joystick, you're actually gonna have the guy looking around. Don't use rat mode, because it'll go all choppy and I don't know, it'll just be weird. I always play first-person shooters with the inverted axes, or with the up and down one at least. And I will invert that here in the app. I'm not going to do that in the game. I don't know why, I don't know. I'd rather just do it here, because I got all these settings changed anyways. So might as well just have it there. Alright, go back to the game. Okay, so, let's see, I can shoot. Let's see, square to reload. Oh, I'm just stuck in this one spot. Alright, let me get a more open level so I can show you all the one problem that I'm having with this one. It's still not nearly as bad as playing with touch controls. Turrets. Alright. Do this one. Okay, so now the problem I have with this one, you know, moving and everything, I need to get my fingers out of the way. It works fine, but the joystick for looking around, when I want to turn around, you see it's gonna, if I just hold it continuously to start turning, it's gonna stop at some point. I gotta let go and do it again, and do it again. And I'm not exactly too sure why it does this, but that's the only, you know, problem, I guess, if you want to call it a problem, that I have with it. Okay, see, so well now I'm out here in the open. And it does, you know, it sometimes gets a little annoying, I guess, but I mean, you got your radar. I still prefer it more than touch control, so it doesn't really bother me so much. If anybody's set up something like this and you already know, leave a comment and let me know what you did. pretty good sized area. That's good because I'm out of bullets pretty much. My pistol. Oh, what are we doing here? Gotta wait. Oh, gotta wait. Alright. Well, that's that. That's a little bit of SixAxis. Any games that y'all are playing, a little bit of help get y'all going. It's pretty simple to set it up once you know everything that's going on. You know, you can set up games pretty quick. Back out of here real quick. Where's that? Wait. Open up this again. Just remember, you know, capture a screenshot. You know, start your game. Capture a screenshot if you want. Maybe even progress a little bit farther because sometimes they'll add little, you know, they'll add buttons on you. You know, take a screenshot, get your button set up the way you want. You know, you're gonna have to test it back and forth. You can leave, you know, leave it in your recent, go back and forth from the game to the app. Just don't forget, you're gonna double tap. You're gonna load your profile. Once you make your changes, you gotta save it every time. Just don't forget to save it. You're gonna hit save. You're gonna pick the one that you want to save it as, or hit new if you want to name it something else. Just don't forget to save it every time. And then at the main screen, don't forget that the drop-down menu needs to be set on the game that you're going to use, and change IME. Make sure it's set at SixAxis controller. Alright guys, any questions, any other tips, let me know. Later.